Hello, folks. This is Blind Adam with the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast. We're back, babies. Yeah. We're here to testify. I just want to apologize for not having too much original content up in the last 2 weeks. Been dealing with some family issues. You know, my grandfather passed away 2 weeks ago, and you know, my only message is, if you have someone in your life you love, give them a hug and tell them you love them when you wake up, and a hug and tell them that you love them when you go to sleep. Because you never know when the last time will be. I'm getting ready for Exotica, the convention for sex, love, relationships, and debauchery, this coming November 4th, 5th, and 6th. And I'm getting ready for Rhode Island Comic-Con on November 11th, 12th, and 13th. With the final New England appearance of Stan the Man Lee and Gal Gadot of Wonder Woman, Jeffrey D. Morgan, and all sorts of other cool shit will be happening. And the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast, along with the Hollywood Garage, will be there. And we'll be wheeling, dealing, woo! Vagina stealing again. And as of next week, we will have new studio space in the great city of all time, New York City. Right now, I'm going to play an interview with the official news source of the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast, Tony Hammock, www.comicsheatingup.net. That's www.comicsheatingup.net. Gonna play it now. Folks, this is Blind Adam of the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast, and I'm here with Tony Hammock of comicsheatingup.net, and we're gonna be talking shop with Tony. What's up, brother?
Hey, Adam, how's it going, man? Good to hear from you.
Good from here from you too, man. Had a blast with you at New York Comic-Con.
That was a good time.
One unread message.
Except for I don't like getting lost in the subway in the city, but it was an interesting adventure.
Yeah, that was a fun time. Since this is the one question I forgot to put on the list, what was your highlight of New York Comic-Con this year? Spec-wise.
So many of them. Honestly, it was, I love meeting people and talking to people, and that's always kind of the highlight. You know, you and I have spoken on the phone in the past, and we've met briefly in person, but, you know, hanging out with you, hanging out with Poyo, hanging out with Tyson B.
Screen tip.
Yep. But that was a blast, man. You know, it was waking up, hitting the con, being at the con or doing something comic related until I passed out at night. And that's not something I get to do every day in my daily life, so that was really it. You know, and of course making money, man.
Yep. You know, so my highlight was definitely hanging out with you, Poyo, and Tyson that night. That was a blast outside of the little subway adventure. My spec highlight was probably Reborn #1.
Yeah, that was doing well. I'll tell you, the one that a lot of people I think missed out on was the Jerome Opena, or however you pronounce his name, sketchbook.
Yeah.
Crazy money. It was a $20 pickup, and you know I sold it right away for like $100. Those didn't last, and I wish I'd gotten more.
Yeah, Mel pointed those out to me, so I was able to score at least one of them at 25.
Yeah, that was a good buy. It's a nice little art book. You know, things like that help pay for the trip.
Yep.
So, makes it worth it.
Yep. Let's see. So, he heard the drama about the Riri Williams, right?
Oh God, yeah.
What are your thoughts? Because I think that was the longest post I ever put in one of your comments.
Well, to be honest with you, I think Jason Campbell had it right when he said he's just not going to get messed up in the drama with it.
Two unread messages.
There's no reason to pull it. You know, she had a little belly shirt on.
Whoop-de-doo.
Not anything overly sexualizing the character. I think Mary Sue had sent out this post that had said that it was, you know, that Marvel was, you know.
Yeah, I read the Mary me, Sue. When I'm not doing a podcast,
Messages.
I'm going to have some words for them, just like I do a million moms.
Yeah, there was no reason to pull it. Honestly, I had no interest in the cover until they told me I couldn't buy it. That's the one thing I like to be able to make decisions for myself. Look, I have no interest in the cover. I'm really not super interested in the book. You know, Iron Man to me is always going to be Tony Stark. And that has nothing to do with it, you know, being made into a young girl. It's just, you know, I gave up on Marvel a long time ago, and I was a legacy collector, and, you know, I just gave up. But I had no interest in the book until they told me I couldn't have the book. That's when I get interested.
Yep,
you know?
I'm actually
so I was making decisions for myself.
Yep, actually, I don't know if you saw the comment I put. I said I was boycotting it. I'm actually going to stand by my boycott.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to buy the other one.
Yep.
Midtown variants don't usually do much on the secondary market anyway.
Oh, actually, here's a little secret for Midtown variants for people outside of the New York City area. You know, and this is where I'm blessed. They still have Midtown exclusive variants from 3-4 years ago on their racks.
Yep, and we found that out that night that we were wandering the city and hit Midtown. That was my first time at Midtown.
Yeah.
And I grabbed one of the Amazing Spider-Man variants off the shelf, had it signed, and sold it real quick.
Yeah, so that's, you know, I mean, so there's no like I said, they still have my other favorite J. Scott Campbell variant, which is the Death of Wolverine Jean Grey cover. And that was done like 3 years ago now. But I just don't like the fact that, you know, that it got pulled for no good reason. And what this will segue into my other thing. What do you think of this variant market right now? I think it's nuts.
It's very heavy. There's a lot of variants.
More unread messages.
You know, more and more players getting into the game every day. Just, you know,
5 unread messages.
With variants by the art that you like, you'll never go wrong if you're buying something that makes you happy. Don't necessarily, I'm not a big fan of store variants necessarily because they don't usually do much in the secondary market. There, you know, of course, there's exception to every rule.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's going to hit a tipping point. And there's good guys in the business making some good variants. There's some guys, you know, less than scrupulous out there making variants. And, you know, and there's all sorts of guys, you know, just out there trying to make money off it. And, you know, just be careful with your dollar. Support people you like, support artists that you like, support books.
And if you're going to do, this is my opinion, if you do the store variants, support the stores that you like.
That's correct.
You know, hey, if you have a store that's good to you, kick a little stuff in. I mean, Bulletproof will always get my money because they hooked me up with one of those pink variants.
Nice. Nice.
And, you know, actually, KRS will get some of my money because they, even though they were sold out, they were very good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for store variants, I usually, you know, I shop at Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland. That's my local comic shop. They'll put out store variants. And I always buy one of theirs and one of the regular covers because to me, regular covers are usually where it's going to be at, you know, over the store exclusive. But, you know, the shop has been good to me over the years, so I, you know, always buy one of their variants to help them, you know, move a copy or two.
Yeah, and they had a really cool variant for Dark Knight 3 that I like.
Yeah, I think they probably still have them in stock if you need it.
7 unread messages.
So.
Like I said, that's not one of those number ones that has so many variants. It's still pretty saturated.
Yeah.
I actually think the Marvel 1 in 1000 variants are the laziest pieces of poop I've ever seen.
The Venom one especially, I mean, they took a panel from an old book, turned it into a Todd McFarlane exclusive art variant, but, you know, it's nothing exclusive, really. That was pretty lazy.
Yep.
And there's going to be a lot of them out there. I mean, there's a lot of stores that are, you know, some of the bigger chains are going to order heavy. Smaller shops, like
Screen tip.
so that, you know, the out-of-the-way stores, they're not going to order 1,000 copies. But, you know, I can imagine there's going to be some stores that can order enough copies, you know, 1,000 copies. They're going to get, you know, the 1 in 1,000 plus, you know, a ton of 1 in 100s, 1 in 25s, 1 in 50s. They're going to be able to make their money back off those variants pretty, you know, fairly easily. So.
Yeah, I almost was tempted to do it when I heard Todd McFarlane variant, and then I saw the cover, and then I was like, nah. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
And once again, I do some things with Awesome Sauce Comics that probably aren't good for short-term business, but, I'm not going to support laziness, and I'm not going to support, censorship.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Let's see, is there any, related spec coming out in the next 2 to 3 weeks that, you think people aren't aware of yet? Actually, this is coming from the Wolverine, actually, let me re-preface this. Now I'm looking at my checklist, and there was a preface, so sorry about that. Wolverine specific spec, because that trailer is awesome.
The trailer is badass, and the international trailer, just takes it the level up with more violence. Logan popping the claws through the guy's jaw up and through the skull is pretty incredible. It's going to be tough. It's hard to forecast what's going to be directly tied to the book. I mean, X-23 is blowing up right now. 9.8 is sold for close to $900.
Yeah, I saw that.
Everybody's running out and buying all the X-23 appearances. It's not a bad idea if you can find them cheap, but it's going to be a matter of what else is going to appear. I mean, we know the Reavers are in there. We know
Donald Pierce.
We know Caliban's in there. Yeah, Donald Pierce is in there. It's going to be what slips out over the next couple of weeks, and people just really, if you're going to spec, you need to be in tune with the news cycle and what's going on. That's really, it's hard to forecast anything, movie related, because you don't know. You'll hear rumors and stuff, but I haven't heard any additional rumors.
Actually, I'm going to give you one book that I think everyone is going to... Fantastic Force 2008, #1. First appearance of Old Man Logan, before Wolverine 66. Fantastic Force, #1, I believe it was 2008. That and the Marvel Legends Uncanny 451 reprints are at the top of my list right now. Yeah.
And what was the other one you just said?
Of course, the Marvel Legends action figure variant.
Yeah. You can still find it on the stock one in the store for like $5.
Yeah, I know, but then removing them from the package just becomes the pain in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, a sharp, straight razor is
True. But Marvel must-haves 22 and 23 as well. They're the Nix reprints.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I saw,
8 unread messages.
Yep. But I don't know, I watched the trailer like 15 times. That's unusual for me for a comic book movie.
I'm so far behind on my Marvel movies. It's just, for the most part, I like the spec aspect of it, but the movies themselves tend to be flat, just not always so appealing. I mean, don't get me wrong, Deadpool was fantastic. I mean, they nailed it with that.
Screen dimmed.
We'll have to see what happens with the second one, but I mean, there's ones I'm looking forward to and ones I'm not so.
Yeah, same here. I actually think it may have been the Johnny Cash song in the background that really amped this one up for me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Johnny Cash fan, so.
Yeah, you and me both grew up listening to Johnny Cash with my dad.
Yep. Let's see. Any Black's is blown up. Is there any other small indie press that you think that's going to blow up like that?
Yeah, Scout's got a good book coming out. I'm not sure when the release date is, but it had a good buzz out of New York Comic Con. Um, the name is like Infernoct, INFERNOCT. Um, it's done by a very young writer named Nina Elwell. They had a 4-page preview at New York Comic Con. I picked some up and I talked to her, and
I never got to the Scout booth.
oh man, I was talking to Brendan Dean, and he was just talking up. He's like, "Come on, come meet her with me," and whatever. And I talked to her for a while, and she's really a fascinating young writer. I would say she's probably in her early 20s, but very talented. The book looks really good. It's a horror book, and horror is where it's at for me, and I'm just really looking forward to this. So I think this one has some legs.
Cool.
Especially if the previews are selling for $10-15.
Nice. And Scout, you can't go wrong with a Scout book right now.
Yeah, low press. A small press, low print run. If it catches an edge, people want it.
And they're putting out quality stuff too.
Yeah, and I ran an article on it a while back. Brendan Deaton, actually, one of his jobs is he takes novels and books and turns them into TV and movie things. So they have their own development wing in getting these properties turned into media deals.
I've always suspected that.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Are you done convention-wise for the year?
Oh, I'm done. I'm so convention.
I have Rhode Island Comic Con, and then after that, I'm pretty much done for the year.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me to come up to Rhode Island, and it's tough for me. I've got two small kids.
Yeah, I know.
He's heartbroken every time I leave.
Yeah, I know that actually, when we're off air, I'll have to ask you what that song was when you sent the single to us, so I can use that myself for the same purposes.
Well, I'll tell you, it's when Joe was first born, I would take a late night shift feeding him, and one of the things that works well with him is monotonous things. So it's just a song that I made up when he was a baby, that I've been singing to him and my other son as well since they were both born. And it's just Daddy Loves You, and then it goes through all the names of everybody in the family. It's long and drawn out, and honestly, it's boring, but they love it, and they ask me to sing it to them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's just
yeah.
Remember, I was passing out on your hotel room floor at that point. I almost did fall asleep. I almost didn't think I was going to wake back up that second time around. I thought I was going to just be a floor mat for you guys.
Well, we were all passing out. It was such a late night. I mean, it was the trip out to Midtown, and I've never been to Midtown before. I've been in Midtown Manhattan, but I've never been to the shop before. So we were all looking forward to going to Midtown. So we appreciate you taking us out there, and then.
My pleasure. Actually, that was probably the only time I ever walked into Midtown without buying something.
Well, that's the first time they've gotten my money in person, so it was cool to go in there. It was very different than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like super massive, and it was very tight. It's a nice shop, don't get me wrong, but it was very close quarters. But then after that, did we get the pizza before we went out there or afterwards?
We went to pizza after that.
Oh, okay. So
we went back to the hotel room when we were all putting stuff on eBay.
Yeah. Well, then hitting that pub and having a couple of pints.
Yeah.
I was just tired, man. I was exhausted. Everybody was passing out.
And then I went to my friend Destiny's apartment and crashed.
Nice.
Yeah,
I mean.
Like I said, I'll just because I know you're at work, I'll keep where she works off the air.
Yeah.
Anyone who actually listens to the podcast knows my sponsors by now, so.
Yeah. I know the establishment in which you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I was going to take you guys that Saturday night, but I actually got called to a buddy of mine who forced me to go to the cosplay party after that.
Oh, that's cool. That's the one thing I didn't do this year. Normally I do some of the the industry parties. I've been to Image Comics Party a bunch of times. I've been to some Marvel gatherings, and Cartoon Network holds a really great like a cruise around the harbor.
I did that last year. That's actually pretty phenomenal.
So, but yeah, this year it was. I've just been tired. I'm running ragged between work, and then I coach my son's baseball team. And, I do so much stuff.
Yeah, and then I know you had the whole flood thing too. So
Yeah.
I know you're dealing with the that. And I always throw one of these questions in here for you, but best hangover food, fast food wise, McDonald's or Burger King?
Burger King. I'm not a huge Burger King eater, but I can eat a Whopper when I'm hungover.
I'm all about the chicken fries right now.
The chicken fries are decent. I'm not gonna lie, I do like those, and the spicy chicken fries are good. I try not to eat a lot of fast food, but man, every now and again, I'll be honest with you, Taco Bell.
I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, that tends to wipe everything out of the system. So anytime you can, let's just say, purge.
You can use Taco Bell to cure the Borg from Star Trek.
It'll get everything out of you, so that's sometimes helpful.
Yeah,
Burger King for me for hangover food.
That's true. And as always, want to thank you for the top 20. I will have a new one to you tomorrow. I think last week's, which isn't up yet on the site, was probably the best one I've written in quite some time.
Well, I like people's views, and I like to see what people are looking at, and I know that readers like it as well. It gets a good amount of readers.
Like I said, mine is more from the viewpoint, and I'm a filmmaker and a comic book guy, so mine comes from a TV, movie, whatever pops into my head from what I'm reading that week type of the spec. Like I rewatched an episode of Ren and Stimpy, and I get excited about the Ren and Stimpy comics.
I used to love the Ren and Stimpy comics. The original cartoon, the second one that they came out with.
That was horrible. I even told Bob Camp, I said that was horrible.
Yeah. So it was tough. The original, couldn't be beaten. I know the second one was more in tune with where they wanted to go originally and couldn't. But
yeah.
The original ones were just classic.
And like I said, I'm really looking forward. And one of these days, I would like to actually, I'll propose this to you on air now. One of these days, me, you, Poyle, and Tyson will do a little four-way podcast, and we'll give Unpressable Defects a little run for their money.
That's cool. And most certainly, I'm sure the guys would be up for talking anytime. Terry Harkness is somebody I've known for a long time. He's got a couple of good ideas for something that he wants to try, and again, if he gets that up and running, talk about having you.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to doing that, man. And as always, I thank you for everything, because I'm one of the blessings of doing what I'm doing is being able to just make friends like you and Tyson and the rest of the gang, and being able to contribute once a week. And
that's the best thing about this is the community and all of it. Meeting people, talking to people, just sharing information, sharing ideas. That's it's no fun doing it alone. So
yep.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you contributing every week. So
yeah, and there are times when it's hard to come up with 20 picks.
Oh yeah.
That's seriously.
It's tough to come up with 14, 15 posts a week.
Yeah, no, actually, I was rereading a couple of my old ones to make sure I don't duplicate things at times. And I was like, wait a minute, there was one or two, I was like, yep, I phoned this one in. And it's like, I noticed when I missed like 3 crack magazines in a row, I was like, yeah, that was one when I was out of ideas. And I just went to eBay, and I know what I did.
I was a Mad fan, so I didn't really get into crack this much. So seeing some of the neat stuff you had, you had a Playboy issue with a Batgirl pinup.
Yep, that's the Van Giga's Batgirl pinup, which is one of the most famous playboys from the 60s.
Well, the funny thing was, because, I'm going up there, and I try to link everything that you talk about so people can see what you talk about. And I noticed all of the copies disappeared after that went up. So somebody went up where several people went on. Just, it was such a neat, it was an unusual pin album.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, I do quite well with that particular issue. That I do better with that than I do the one that had Michonne's origin in it. Speaking of, did you watch Walking Dead last night yet?
Oh, yeah, that was
Alright, be non-spoiler because I'm going to be doing that later, but scale from 1 to 10.
Oh, 12.
And did my boy Lucille make an appearance?
What's that?
Did my boy Lucille or girl Lucille make an appearance?
Yes, she did. And I just remind everybody to read issue 100, and you still won't be prepared.
I actually had to do that on Facebook because a couple of my Facebook friends were all crying that they're never watching the show again. And I'm like,
it was perfect.
Ooh, they were that accurate. No, definitely. If they're that accurate to issue 100, I'm definitely gonna have to watch it now.
It isn't. I'll just put it that way. My wife watched it this morning. She didn't stay up with me to watch it last night because we never watch anything on time. She was like, "I'm going to bed." I'm like, "I'm Walking Dead without you. I'm sorry." She was like, "All right, I'll watch it in the morning." And then she called me up. She was like, "You didn't warn me." I said, "I did. I've been warning you for months that this episode." I don't want to give the spoilers away to her.
Yep.
Because when I read issue 100, I was like, "Holy cow!" I was floored. I didn't expect it. It was just brutal and visceral, and then watching the show, I mean, it was true to form, and then more so, and it just takes it to the next level, and that's what the TV show does well.
Yep. That's why I think the Megan Kills Green Valleys are going to be a great book to have now.
Yeah.
I also think that Robert Kirkman's missing out. They should do replica Lucille's.
I think they are. I think they have them in New York. They're plastic, but they did have replica Lucille's at New York. I think they probably have them in San Diego too.
I'll have to talk to our mutual buddy over there and check out about that. Even though he did give me a little bit of an attitude on that Saturday morning.
I don't want to mention names, but okay, I know who you're talking about.
Because he just had to remind me about 4 times. Even though he sold me the image variants, that he already works for Skybound and wasn't able to answer any of my questions.
Yeah.
So it was just friendly back and forth teasing.
Yeah. Oh, good. He was ripping Polio as well, pretty hard.
Why was he ripping Polio?
Just because.
Oh, okay. So. Actually, then again, I can't talk. I was making fun of his accent. Right to him too. But he's a great guy, man. He's turned me on to a few books through his weekly picks that I either forgot about or made me think of a second chance.
Yeah, but he's really down to earth. I mean, hanging out with him was cool. He and I have been talking for years now, and phone conversations, text messages, and just hanging out with him in person. It was a blast. So.
Yep. And Tyson made me do something awful. I did actually buy the Strawberry Shortcake 2-pack.
Did you sell them?
Nah, it's on my shelf.
Oh, okay.
My New York Comic Con pops, I decided to keep as I think I could sell all the other books and all the other freebies. I was like, but the 4 pops that I wanted, I bought for myself.
Well, I ended up with, I'm still trying to find the Killing Joke. I got the Rainbow Batman, which I got it because they had it. I got the Toy Tokyo, Wolfman, and Green Ranger, and I've been trying to sell that Green Ranger. And then I got Super 7 Blessed Jasons. Oh, and
I knew you'd get that.
Oh, yeah.
That's going
I
with
ended up spending way too much money at Hot Topic afterwards, trying to get the black box. I got the I got duplicates. We'll just put it that way, triplicates. But I did get the Jason, and I got the Pinhead, so I was happy with those.
Nice. Actually, I'm actually going to start selling those blind boxes at shows and just have a buyback policy to get duplicates.
Well, I think buyback policy is not a good idea.
This way, I wanted to get your opinion on it. I'm getting down to the last two questions here. What do you think of the lottery boxes that convention dealers are doing now? Mystery boxes.
I like themes. Loot Crate will have certain themes that I'll buy into, and I did just get the horror box, which I'm so looking forward to, and so disappointed by the content. But that kind of stuff, I mean, they throw out, you can win a PlayStation 4, you can win a PlayStation VR. And they're there to make money, so they're putting stuff in those boxes that they're paying way little for. And people go nuts. You see them walking around with those giant Doctor Who boxes or the Pokemon things and the Mario cubes.
Yep.
I just think they're a waste of money. I'm sorry. I mean,
that's what I thought too.
Random stuff. But they sell.
Yep. The only one I'm actually going to go for is the Comic-Con box. That Wizard does.
Right. And it's filled by Midtown, just so you know.
Yeah. That's the only one I can guarantee. Loot Crate, if they ever return an email, may eventually become a sponsor. That's just a horrible, I just got to figure out how to need someone to help me do their contact page on their website.
Oh, just hit me up offline, I'll help you.
Alright, sweet.
It's not hard.
Yeah, because I actually did well with those Thanos gloves.
The recalled ones.
Actually,
yeah, on me about that.
You know what? I actually, I learned the hard way not to cook with them now.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's because I was trying to make a video for the YouTube channel, cooking with Thanos gloves, and it didn't work out the way I wanted it to.
My kids, I didn't send mine back. My kids play with it. They like going around being Thanos and having the.
They didn't give it the mom. They didn't give it the mom.
They were going to, and it sat in the drawer, and my wife never used it. And then the kids realized it was there, and then they were off being Thanos. And the cartoons really influence what they play. So.
Nice. Because I saw Joey saying he was going to give it to mommy.
Yeah. Half the stuff he says he's going to give to mom doesn't end up with mom. So.
Okay. That, and better spec pick here. X-23 or Batman Adventures 12 at this point.
Well, both are pretty good. I mean, Batman Adventures 12. Harley getting her own movie will help boost the book again. But it's going to continue to grow to blue chip. X-23 has room for exponential growth because it's still, she hasn't appeared on screen yet, and who knows what they're going to do. Are they going to replace, Hugh Jackman in the movies with, X-23?
I think that's the plan. I actually think with the way they're going, I'm going to be surprised if that's the plan. I also, I have this sneaky suspicion that behind the scenes, Fox and Marvel are actually starting to work together. Because you saw that little blurb about the X-Men books relaunching better than ever.
Yes.
That's my suspicion that maybe they're gonna play ball.
Well, here's a crazy thought, Adam. End of Logan, Wolverine dies. They kind of do the death of Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned it earlier, and it just kind of resonated with me. If they do go to X-23, Hugh Jackman is going to be out of the picture anyway. They could retire the character by killing him. There's a potential. I mean,
Yep.
something to think about.
Definitely.
Of course.
And we'll be in touch, man. Thank you so much.
No worries, Adam. And like I said, if you need help with that loot crate thing, just hit me up. I'll help you with that.
Alright, sweet. Thanks, man. I probably will. This has been the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast with Talking Shop with Tony. Blind Adam out.
Take care, everyone.
Viewfinder 35 minutes 29 seconds. 35 viewfinder. Stop recording video button.